We gotta move so any church, baby. Chop up music. International DJ Nolly.
Master Square on the bass.
They sing musica. Turn me up, let's go. One time, turn it down, let's go.
Etine lapa, you can make me spin or he kappa. What's up with you, yata? The papa say he won't be a uno copa. The tuna for Jaja, uno tuma, every morning Kenya.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're joining us from, you're right back on the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and let me first wish you, or hope you all have been having a pleasant week so far. And it is an honor to have you back here watching us. So, as always, I would like to encourage you to share the program on your social media page, and also remember to follow the network on Facebook. That is the Liberia Radio and Television Network, and also the LIRT Live. And you can also follow this network on YouTube as well. For the next episode, we have with us our special guest. But before we get into that, let me bring you the current events we have for you on this episode. And beginning with the Republic of Ghana, they host a citizenship ceremony for Mother Fletcher and Uncle Red. So to have more information on who those two individuals are, you can visit the I don't have the source available, but the Republic of Ghana holds citizenship ceremony for Mother Fletcher and Uncle Red. And also in neighboring country Nigeria, the elections there, Bola Tinubu was declared winner for the election and made calls for a rerun. So if you've been following that development, the incumbent was announced as winner for the election despite all of the protests, including a statement from former President Obasanjo. And coming to Liberia, current events, I'd like to begin with, it has been reported that there's a mass protest at Pinsville City Corporation. Employees there saying that they have not been paid for over 8 months. Also, the House of Representatives in Liberia has passed the 2022 and 2023 draft national budget of over 800 million United States dollars. It is pending the concurrence of the Senate. Senator DeLong and others said that they will not sign. And last week we announced this, but the preliminary results of the recent national census conducted by Legis has put the population of Liberia at 5.2 million. And our last current event we have here is the unfortunate news for the former Chief Justice. It was announced this week that unknown persons broke into a home, and unfortunately it was later announced that her daughter was killed. So that is the last current event we have here. But before I put my panelists on the screen, I would like to, on behalf of myself and this network and the show, send my sympathy to the family of to former Chief Justice Gloria Scott and her family for this difficult period. And let me have my panelists back on the screen, and let me take this time to officially welcome our special guest for tonight. That is the current Deputy Minister for Instructions at the Ministry of Education, Mr. Alexander Nyonkon Duopu. And correct me, let me know if I say your name right, but welcome to the Hard Zone, Mr. Duopu.
Thank you very much. You said it right.
Thank you.
Alexander Nyonkon Duopu.
Alexander Nyonkon Duopu. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let me take this time to welcome our panelists. And as always, I would like to have you give us your thoughts on the last current event that was announced. Beginning with you, Mr. Ja Winkin Weah, the former Chief Justice, whom was broken into and she lost her daughter. Welcome to the show, and tell us what you make of that story.
All right. Thank you, Derek, and thank you to the Minister for appearance on the Horizon tonight, the Bishop Collins, and Ms. Bodai. Well, on the question of that, we hope that the government this time around will take this matter seriously, as the entire international community and all the political parties are really showing interest into the outcome of this particular situation. It was very unfortunate. So my thought is that I hope President Weah and the government will take it seriously, and beyond that incident, they should go into investigating all the deaths that have been happening, so that Liberian people will know that we have a government in place that protecting the Liberian people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weir. And Mr. Boda, let me come to you next. Again, thank you and welcome to another episode of the Horizon. It's good to have you here. What do you think about the current event? We just announced this incident with former Chief Justice Gloria Scott. I think you. I can't hear you. I don't know if you're mute or not. Are you there? Are you with us, Mr. Boda?
Yeah, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I said thank you for having me. I also want to welcome Mr. Minister to the show. Um, it's unfortunate that we have what happened in Liberia. To see 7 people who are given the time to the country, or beyond that, other people dying, people being harassed in all sort of manner, it's just unfortunate. And I hope that the Liberian government will think this through and bring the perpetrator to justice, because we need justice. We need people to be accountable. So if things happen, we shouldn't just let it go under the rug and like past 1-2 days it's over. Now I hope that the opposition will continue to press on this issue, not just for a movement in the press as well. We'll continue to press these people to justice, because all the killing going on in our country, there has not been any accountability for any. And it's very important that we have this. So I hope that the government is listening and can do the work that they have to do for the Liberian people to bring people to justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Let me come to you, Mistress Elizabeth Collins. Welcome to yet another episode, and give us your take on the incident involving the former Chief Justice.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Minister. Again, I want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's so sad and frustrating for the killing that is going on into the country. Not only the former Chief Justice, but the killing of innocent people, innocent lives has been lost, and there's no investigation. The perpetrator have not they have not bring them to justice. People are moving around with impunity for killing other people, for their, other people, loved ones, and something has to be done. The government will have to take responsibility, because people are living in fear. When you go to Monrovia now in Liberia, you have to be in your house by 6 o'clock, because we don't know who the next person, they're going to attack. It's a shame. It is frustrating and heartbroken. My heartfelt condolences goes out to all those people that lost, their loved ones, including the minister. Something has to be done, and the citizens themselves will have to do something. Meaning, even if where are the human rights organization as in Liberia? Where are the justice? Where are the religious leaders, interfaith mediation committee? Whether you are Muslim, whether you are Baptist, where are them? Why nobody seeing anything? The citizen, why are they not jumping in the street to demand justice? Because it's not to your door today, you don't know when they're going to come. Something has to be done.
Thank you.
This is ridiculous.
Thank you very much, Mistress Elizabeth Collins. And let me come to you, Bishop Hagar. Thank you for joining the show again tonight, and welcome to another episode. And give us your take on the incident involving the former Chief Justice.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Welcome, and welcome to all the panelists. I extend my condolences to Honorable Gloria Scott, to the family. My view tonight is unfortunate that Liberians don't take their security very, very important. I'm a little surprised that somebody of such caliber would now have a security camera in her house. I mean, killing has been going on in Liberia for a very long time. If you read the Guinness Record book, we were one of the nations that was spotted off for ritualistic killing. I mean, the only person that brought people to justice was Torval when he actually hanged those 13 people. But since then, ritualistic killing of innocent people in Liberia have been part of our history. During the Ellen Johnson government, there were so many innocent deaths, and there was absolutely no investigation done to say, oh, Harry Green was killed. Nobody knew who did it. So many people was killed. Michael Allison, my friend, a lawyer, was killed. Nobody knew who did it. And I can remember I was in Liberia when those death news were reported. The opposition party led by CDC was in the vanguard asking the government to do investigation. Now today, innocent lives have been lost in Liberia, and we can't hear any investigation going on. I will call on the government to really come clean and do the investigation that is necessary. And I will ask every Liberian listening all over the world, you got to take your security into consideration. My house in Liberia has a camera in there. I'm not going to allow anybody just come walk into my house. I get secret camera all over the place there. And I'm going to make sure I record everything I go. Even here, as I'm here, I know exactly what happened in my house. So you can't just leave your security with people like Gloria Scott have no camera in your house. A Chief Justice, man, I was disappointed. We need to take our security seriously.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hager. And let me just say, from your statement, I know you are listening very keenly to the president when he said that Liberia needs to have CCTV to provide protection for themselves. So you got that message pretty clear. But let me take a break from the show and wish you a happy pre-55th birthday. I know your birthday is coming up on the weekend. So I would like to wish you a happy pre-55th birthday. And to you, the Deputy Minister, if you would like, I can give you the option if you want to take a step at this current event discussion, the incident involving the former Chief Justice. You can go ahead. If not, we can take a very brief break and resume to our discussion on education.
Okay. Yeah, we can have a break.
All right. Thank you so much. Guys, if you're following us, leave us your contribution in the comment section. And also make sure to follow the network and share the program. But for now, you just heard from our panelists on our current event, and you heard our current events. Let's take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will get right into our discussion with the Deputy Minister from the Ministry of Education. But for now, let's take a very brief break.
Hi, my name is Martha Tombe, owner of Matisia Natural Hair Salon, located on 4405 Chestnut Street. We are specializing in locks, natural hair, braids, and etc. Call us for all your natural hair needs. You can reach out at 267-703-2330. If you have pictures or videos you want to send us, you can send it to 267-224-0693.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Where you're still watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We have a special guest tonight, the Deputy Minister from the Ministry of Education. That is the Ministry of Education. He's the Deputy Minister of Instruction at the Ministry of Education. So this first segment, we will ask the Minister general questions about his role at the Ministry of Education, and general questions about whatever the panelist has. But for now, let's have the panelists and our special guest back on the screen, and we will get right into our discussion. Before we do, I always like to encourage you to please share the program on your Facebook or social media page. And also make sure to follow the network and encourage your friends and family to do so as well. But for now, let me get the ball rolling and have the minister address my first general question. Mr. Minister, again, welcome to the show. And my question to you is basically if you can talk to us and talk to us about your, I know you're Deputy Minister of Instruction at the Ministry of Education. So if you can tell us what is your responsibility at the Ministry of Education, what is your day-to-day looks like, and how long have you served in that role, and what was your previous position?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the President of Liberia, Dr. George Manawia, for reposing confidence in Dr. D. Ansu Soni and co-op officers that are, steering the affairs of the Ministry of Education. My role as Deputy Minister for Instruction, when you say instruction, it means that I have oversight. The ministry is structured in a way that we have the Minister of Education, then we have three deputies, one for administration, one for planning and research, and I'm for instruction. And under my watch, I'm the only minister in Liberia who has 5 assistant ministers that I supervise because I'm the head of instruction, I'm the head of early childhood education, I'm the head of student personnel services, I'm the head of technical vocational education training, I'm the head of secondary and basic education, I'm the head of teacher education. So when it comes to running the affairs of the education sector, I am the driving force. I'm the nucleus. And I also have, besides the assistant ministers that I have because the sector is of such that we have county education officers. We have 16 county education officers. We know we have the 15 counties, but because Monserrato is so large, so we divided Monserrato into Monserrato 1 and 2. So we have 16 education officers. Then we also have 124 district education officers, besides the principals of these schools, besides administrators and teachers, parents, PTAs, community leaders, county school boards. Those are people that I supervise, directly and indirectly. So that's the kind of thing I'm doing. And I also have relationship with all our partners because we have partners and donors, that support us because we are the implementation arm. Instruction means we implement all the programs, the projects, and the strategies that will drive the sector and make the sector where it ought to be.
Thank you. And let me say, from listening to you, you seems like you carries a lot of responsibility there at the ministry. And I would like to say, it's always a good thing to serve in the public space. You serving and working for the Liberian people. That is a really, really good thing. And I listen to you. You have, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, you have 5 assistants, and you supervise a lot of different departments.
Yeah, district education officers. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I would just like to say that is a really good thing. It's always good, like I said, to serve in public space. But for now, let me give the opportunity to one of the panelists to ask you one of their 2 general questions. Beginning with you, Mr. Bolda. What do you have for the minister?
Mr. Minister, it's good to see you and good to have you on the show tonight. My question is in regards to both forces in planning and also the instruction that you are heading of at the ministry. We realize the population in Liberia is growing, and what are the plan the Ministry of Education is having to address the growing need of the public in terms of the young, like in charge of instructions? There are kids that are born today. What is it planning there for them for education? And secondly, all of the schools in Monrovia and Liberia at the time, some of them were high school, now they convert them to junior high school. What are the plans to consider new educational facility for our growing population? Is there any plan that you and your ministry are having to deal with?
You know, when we took office at the ministry was already labeled and tinted that the sector was a mess from previous government. And because of that, when I say the sector is a mess, it means that we have limited access, diminished quality of education, and a hampered governance. And so when we took office, we first of all identify the education sector plan, because the sector plan are dry. It's 5 years. The sector plan is for 5 years, and the sector plan was formulated 2017, and we took office 2018. So we look at the issues that were, that the sector plan was addressing. All right. First of all, when we got in, it was addressing. In fact, the analysis before the sector plan, the education sector analysis, was looking at the inadequate budgetary support, weak system and structure for effective delivery of education services. We had inadequate education facilities, inadequate learning materials and supplies. We had, out of school kids, overage kids, inadequate parental and community involvement in the sector. So how, can we clearly identify interventions that we needed to reshape, the sector, the education sector? So we needed to improve access, because if you look at the Education Act, they talk about access, they talk about quality and governance. So how do we improve access, that quality and governance across the sector? So we look at the sector plan, the 2017 sector plan, okay, that we know our population was growing, but yet and still, we had kids who were out of school. We had kids who were overage. Those are things that we had to address. We have female students who, at the age of 12, 13, they drop out of school for so many factors. All right. How do we improve that numeracy and literacy? How do we, reduce the overage rate? But because in Liberia, most of our parents, when the kids, especially in the rural areas, our kids, when they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, the parents continue to take them to the farm. All right, probably 10 years, 15 years before they start going to school. That's how to create this overage thing. And then we see our female students I was talking about, when they reach the age of 12, 13, because of some factors, they drop out of school. So these are things that we were engaged to make sure that our kids have access and they have the kind of quality education that they needed. So what we did was that we look at first the overage and out of school kids. How can we address the issue? Those are issues that we started to address. Then we look at how we can improve learning outcomes. All right, in Liberia, because they say the system was also a mess. All right, but we were not. But I will tell you, we have a lot of success stories. Because now we have reached 6 years since 2018 to present. We have a lot of success stories. Okay.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister. And I'll come back to you, Mr. Boda, for your second question. But let me come to you right now, Mr. Ja Winkin. Where do you have anything for the minister?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Minister. I have my first question has to do with the uh, the introduction of national exam for third grade, sixth grade, and ninth grade. I would like to know what is the significance of this reintroduction of these exams, uh, that followed by the imposition of fees, which at time coerce extraction from the poor people who barely find food to eat. Please tell us what is the significance of these tests.
Well, education, education gives us knowledge, gives power, and you get knowledge through education. It's one of the means through which we develop ourselves. We are able to support our families. We are able to contribute to our society. You see, when we realize that many of our students, even us, we took ninth grade, junior high exam. All right. Then we also took 12th grade exams, and it was the certificate from WAEC that ensures that we have actually graduated from high school, not only the diploma that we earned. But we realized when we took over, our kids, when they're about to take the 12th grade test, people will go to them and say, look, we have the answer. They will start looking all around, camping, because they don't have the foundation. They will leave from ECE or early childhood up to ninth grade before they even take a public test. So to also realize what the teachers are teaching, whether they are actually teaching for the curriculum, whether they are actually prepared to teach our kids, we had to assess them, we had to evaluate them. So we decided to introduce the assessment for third graders, because when our kids can sit public assessment for third grade, sixth grade, ninth grade, before they reach 12th grade, they have that confidence level. It's the confidence level we are building in our kids, and we can see the results. All right. So our kids that have not taken third or sixth grade assessment, that reach to 12th grade to take the test, they will start looking for leeway out how they can pass. But if you have come to Liberia and witness our kids that have been prepared for third grade exam, sixth grade exam, how our kids, confidently and confidently going to take this test, and the kind of result that comes from there. So the assessment is not about the money. How much they pay? 1,000 Liberty. That's what they are paying for the assessment. All right, it's like $5, and the assessment. I mean, who will want to go to school will not be assessed, will not be evaluated. So the only way we can test the system that our teachers are actually teaching our kids, our kids are actually learning, and that our kids can get all that feedback through this assessment. So that's the importance of the assessment. For ninth grade, ninth grade, all of us, even when I was in grade school, I took ninth grade, ninth grade certification test. 12th grade is a mandatory thing that we have to do to say, yes, our kids have actually graduated from high school. So the essence is that we are preparing our children, we are empowering them, and we are building their confidence level.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Just
You want to go follow up?
Yeah, just a follow up, please. Well, I wanted to follow on the question of the money, because I know some schools, when I was in Monrovia, charging up to $30, $40 US dollars. Now, the main thing is that I don't know whether you are following what is the percentage level of students who are passing and failing, or whether this stops. If someone fails the assessment, does that affect their promotion to the fourth grade, seventh grade, or ninth grade? Is there any reward? Is there any merit? I really be confused whether they will earn something at the end of the day that you are following through, so that this student A is good at this level, so the student will be rewarded this. That's what that's a mindset I'm thinking about That's a significant ask. But what are you doing this? Are you following up the students?
Kids that pass, you see, the assessment is not for whether you pass or not. Besides the ninth grade, according to the law, if you don't pass the ninth grade exam, you are not supposed to be promoted to the 10th grade.
So what do you do after that? Because school do they do it in Liberia.
We've been following up. The 3rd grade is an assessment. 6th grade is an assessment. Those the children that continue to take the 3rd grade and 6th grade, now we have even made it mandatory. All right. So they have certificate. Those who pass, their certificate that show that they have sat the 3rd grade or the 6th grade assessment. They have the certificate to show to go to the next class. We, as a result of the war and those who were, I don't want to criticize our predecessors, all right, but they created a situation that we had to enforce, all right. Enforce is last year we started to enforce the mandate that if our kids sit the 9th grade and they do not pass the 9th grade exam, they will not go to 10th grade, because we decided to recruit 3,000 students, female, because as I said, we talk about female dropout. We decided to recruit 3,000 females that are in public schools. And these females, you have to take the 9th grade exam. When you take the test, so long you pass the 9th grade exam, we put you on a scholarship to ensure that from 10th grade to 12th grade, when you enroll in 10th grade, you will be retained and you'll complete up to 12th grade. And these are students that we give incentives. So the only way that we can encourage our students, especially the female students, to ensure that this is a serious, because we are investing in them, we are incentivizing them. We gave them $300 every year. We buy a cell phone for them. We
US
dollars. We enroll them in the school feeding program that at the end of every weekend, they take ration home so that their parents themselves can get involved. When the parents get involved, they will definitely send the kids the following week to go to school. So we take it seriously. We do follow up. That's why I talk about my county education officers and my district education officers. These are people that are in the counties and the districts, because the sector is of such that is decentralized, and they gave me feedback. All right. Any school that sends students for 9th grade exam and the student does not pass, and you promote that student, that school will be fined. All right. And that student will be placed back in the 9th grade. So that's the essence of the exam, to build a confidence level. And also, they are certificated, and it's a leeway to the following class, the next class.
Question with the Deputy Minister of Instruction at the Ministry of Education, Liberia. And Honorable Minister, I will just do a follow-up based on what I listened to you. As I was listening to you answer the question from Mr. Weir and Mr. Bolden. One, you mentioned that your ministry has done a lot of good things, and you have made a lot of success, or during your time at the ministry. And also, I noticed in the beginning you thanked the president of Liberia for his preferment. And I want you to reconcile your statement, and pertaining to the successes you have acquired in the ministry, with I don't know if you're familiar with the NEMOTS report, that this government or President Weir has done very little, especially in the sector of education. And I want you to reconcile your statement about success with that. And also, if you care to, this administration has been accused of some level of nepotism. And if you would like to tell us if you're a member of the establishment, or you're a member of the Congress of Democratic Change, or you from the opposition community, and that's if you care. So reconcile a statement with that of the NEMOS report, and also talk to us about your affiliation with the CDC.
Well, we have the PAPD agenda, all right. And if you've looked at the agenda, education has always come number one because, as I said, we saw when we took over, there were a lot of challenges and problems that labor the sector. And when we took over, the first thing is we had human resource reform. In that, Go's name was created. They have blotted payrolls, and those are things that we curtailed. All right, there were people who said they were teachers. I hope you gave me some chance. Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening to you very keenly. I'm trying to get you to make your
There were
point.
people who were placed on the payroll who said they were teachers. They were assigned in some of the counties, and at the end of the day, when they are named, their names are on the payroll, they leave the classroom and they come to Morovia. All right. And those are things that are being going on. There are others who, for instance, I'll give you an example. Probably I'm in medical school, or I'm anticipating attending medical school, and I don't have a job. I start to teach biology or chemistry, and I take the exam, and I'm enrolled at the medical school. I will leave the classroom, probably maybe bring someone without even letting the ministry know. Those are things that have been going on and on and on until we got in. When we got in, we started to face with this same problem. But then we had independent verification, team. We asked CSA, we asked GAC, RAA, and the Ministry of Education to go in the field in all the counties and all the districts, to all the schools, to make sure that they can see whether these teachers are actually in school or they are not in school.
How many ghosts then detected?
Honorable Minister.
I just want to give you an idea.
No. I'm sorry. So we are. Mr. Minister, you are listing challenges.
I'm talking about the interventions that we made,
Okay, can you be very specific in your answer about the sources you have obtained at the ministry? And also, if you care to answer, talk to us about affiliation with the CDC. We have a lot of things to discuss. I just want you to be specific with your answer.
Okay, so we were successful in this human resource reform. We've been successful in we've done the curriculum, the competent-based curriculum, that now teachers are not showcasing themselves like content knowledge, but it's where the student themselves, do research, come to class and interact with teachers. The interactive kind of curriculum that what we develop, the competent-based curriculum. We've next month, which is this April, April that's coming, we are going to give all our students in the entire country, physics books.
Mr. Minister, be careful how you making promises.
I am telling you.
Okay.
All the students in our country, all the students. I'm on the public space, right? Public platform.
You are.
Will receive physics books, chemistry book, mathematics book, English book.
I mean, what?
Sciences. And those are teaching and learning materials for our kids, for the senior high. For the senior high, teaching and learning material for the senior high. Okay? Because we realize, and those books will also be placed, they'll be made digital, they'll put on the platform that it can be access free. If you don't even have the physical book, you can go and access it. It's free. Okay? It will be online, free for our kids. We also have this accelerator. We are successful in the accelerator learning program where we have over age kids, need kids that maybe you are 10 years old to be ABC or first grade. We've been successful. We made sure that we have teachers that have been trained. All right. We incorporated kids with this program. At the end of the day, the kids they take their rifle class. They are at age class, and the kids are doing well. And you've seen our the white result, the WAS result. Our kids 2020 Liberia 2019 2020 Liberia came third place in mathematics. And our kids that never used to pass, our kids are passing with credits. All right, because we are now, it's not only the Liberia senior high exam anymore, it's the West African, senior and secondary certificate examination. You see, so our kids, we have a lot of success story. Because we decided as a government to make sure that we continue to improve our kids' confidence level. The government, before our kids even do the WAS exams, we have tutorials for our kids. We ourselves give them a pre-test. We give them a pre-test, and they do those tests 2 or 3 days before taking the exams. So we've been making a lot of strides. Now we are building 3 state-of-the-art high schools like Tottenham High.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister.
Like Magibi, County, and
Mr. Minister.
3 state-of-the-art.
Can you address the question on your affiliation with the current administration? Are you a member of the current political party, CDC?
I am. In CDC we have the coalition. We have CDC. We have the coalition. We have collaborating political parties that collaborated. You know that I was the vice presidential candidate along with Ben Yuri, and I chose to support CDC. And of course, right now I still pledge my support to CDC for the next 6 years.
Thank you very much. Let's come to you, Bishop Hagan, and what do you have for the Honorable Minister?
Yeah, thank you so much, Minister, for instruction. My first question to you, I want the Liberian people to know you. What are the competence you brought to the Ministry of Education? I want you to tell us what the qualifications are. And in line of that, I just wanted to borrow from your idea. You say there are a lot of successes that the government is making in addressing some of the deficit in the educational system. We applaud you for that. We will see the result. But I want to remind you, all of the reports concerning comparing Liberia with all the West African countries, that we are lagging behind in terms of the quality of the education that we are getting in our country. And one of the things that I want to bring to your mind is this. For example, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, when a child reached the 5th grade, the government gave them a 14-digit, like a social security number that is being tracked from 5th grade all the way to university. In Liberia, a child in 5th grade failed. The parent take them to World Trade Center and produce fake report cards. They go to 6th grade, they go to 7th grade, they go to 8th grade. How are you, as Deputy Minister for Instructions, going to address the issue where students fail in one school and easily can go to another school and take a higher grade and reducing the quality of our education?
Okay, thank you. You see, that's integrity problem. You see, this is why we have the community engagement. We always, told our parents to be strong and when it comes to this PTA, so that they can all make decisions together. I'll tell you a story concerning what you just asked me. There's 2 schools in Bapulu, a Methodist school and the Catholic school. This kid, Bapulu is a very small community, and the kid was in the Catholic school in the 9th grade, and the kid did not pass, and the parents took the kid to the Methodist school in the 10th grade. And because the community was of such, the priest, the Catholic priest, he was the principal. He went to the pastor who happened to be the principal for the Methodist school, he said, look, I don't care whether the kids come to this school, but the kid failed in the Catholic school, in my school, put him back in the 9th grade. And then the school administrator decided not to listen to his colleague. And they took it to the DO. I think a lot of things went on. The DO could have, render judgment. It came as far as my office. And then I opened, the parent were there. The mother, be them that this child should stay in the middle school in the 10th grade. And that thing, they said, it brought a lot of rivalry and rift in Bapulu, between the Cali principal and the Melody principal. So I just opened the law right before the parent. She cried, and I told her the kid have to go back to the 9th grade. And today that the kid went back, and now the kid graduated. You see, our parents themselves, we need to be sincere to ourselves. The system cannot work except all of us work the system. It's not us alone sitting at the ministry's end will make the system work. It's all of us. Because the country, tomorrow, any decision that will be made by our kids will rest from us, the decision we've taken. So that's what I want to say. For my qualification, I hold a master's degree in finance. I hold a master's degree in accounting. I've been teaching at the University of Liberia. I went back home to serve. I taught Continental Graduate School, the University of Liberia, graduate school, undergraduate school, the United Methodist University. I taught that university, and then I serve as the chief of the officer in charge for. I know you heard about FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the first chief of office staff there. I also serve as at the Social Security, as one of the Assistant Director General of Social Security. I serve in America here. I work with PNC Financial as the investment accountant before I traveled to Liberia when Ellie asked me to go back to Liberia. I serve also as at JFK as the senior consultant, restructuring JFK during Ellie's term. Then I was opportune by Honorable Uri to serve as his vice standard bearer, after which I assumed this position. So
it looks like, sorry, Minister, I'm not cutting you. That's why we're reading about you. You have a lot of qualification, but I don't see no emphasis on educational management or instruction. So how did you get that position when you only have all the competence in finances?
Oh, well, as I said, I've been in the employ of teaching at the universities, all right, and also I've over the years now I've been going through a lot of refreshers, a lot of trainings, that in my capacity I've been afforded, all right, making these kind of judgments that I'm making at the Ministry of Education.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let's come to you, Mistress Collins.
Thank you, Minister, for joining us. I will go straight into my question. My question is about our educational system has been quote or unquote as is a reg or is a math is not up to standard, and so I'm concerned about the primary education. The primary education is a key to a successful education in any nation. And so my question to you is, how do you accredit schools? How do you give schools accreditation or permission or permit to operate? For instance, if I went to Liberia today and I want to open a school, how you going to accredit me? Because if I don't have idea on how to operate school, I just open a school, and I get limited fees. Everybody looking for cheap school, but I don't have the credentials, and I may not have the qualified staff.
You want to run a school or you just the proprietor? Just I want to know.
Well, and how do you accredit school? Because
Well,
if you
you talk to
accredited
yourself now.
school,
Whether you not qualify, well, I'm asking whether you will be the proprietor or you are going to allow people to manage the school. Those who are qualified to manage the school. That's what I asked.
I'm
Before.
going to manage a school, but I can't manage it by myself. I have teachers.
Okay, but there are two things now. I can establish a school as I may have the funding to I may have the vision to establish a school, but I will look for school administrators, I look for qualified teachers, to come and run this school. While I'm the, like for instance, where you have board of directors, you have shareholders, and what have you. That's what I'm saying. But let me just
What
answer.
I'm saying is that
Let me just answer your
how
question.
do you accredit these schools?
Before you establish a school, first of all, there are processes that you need to go through. You first of all, if you should have the structure, the physical structure, the physical environment where you will write an intent that you want to establish school through the district education office. The district education office will require you to have business registration, you have your bank statements, you have the list of teachers and their qualifications. So many things that are required before you then the district education will go, the officer will go to that school to look at the physical environment, see whether the structure is prepared to be a school first of all. Then now that district education officer will look at the qualification of those teachers and the school administrators that you presented to them. Okay, you look at their credentials, audit their credentials, match their credentials. From there, they look at your bank account. Okay, whether you just want to open school and you take fees before you pay teachers. No, you could have certain amount in the account for a year. Okay, that you can pay. The teacher's salary, because you don't want students to be paying school fee, then you pay teacher. At the end of the students cannot pay school fee, then teachers don't want to come to school. All right. So after which, when they validate you, when endorse you, then they will give you a slip to go to LRA, and then you will go to LRA and pay your registration fees. After that, then he will give you another slip that you pay for your operational permit. Then you can run your school. Then you can run your school.
So
But
how do you?
the
So you gave me the permission.
Mrs. Collins
education
and the
officer,
Honorable
the
Minister.
district education officer will
Uh,
continuously go
Mr.
to your
Minister,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Uh,
we'll have to continue the conversation after our break. We have exhausted the time we have for this segment. So let's take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation, and then we will get into the challenges faced with our education system. So I'll encourage our panelists to tailor your individual questions to the challenges of facing our education system. But for now, let's take a very brief break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for being with us. You're still here on the Horizons episode 12 of season 2. My name is Derek Yale, and here we're bringing this show to you on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. So please do us a favor and share the program on your social media page, and also remember to follow the network on Facebook and whatever social media page you are on. We have with us a special guest from the Ministry of Education, that is the Deputy Minister of Instruction at the Ministry of Education. And we've been having discussions on, of course, education in Liberia. And right now, for this segment, we would like to have a discussion specifically on the challenges faced with education and educators in Liberia. So we strongly encourage our panelists to tailor their questions around the challenges that is being faced with education in Liberia. But before I go to my first panelist, Honorable Minister, let me ask you this question real quick. Are you with me, Honorable Minister?
Yeah.
In light of reports of harassment and abuse of students, as well as abuse of power from educators in exchange for passing grades, what is being done to protect students?
Thank you very much. Just recently, because I told you about our girls, they are the most vulnerable ones. And sometimes they think they can go and share those things that they're going through against some bad teachers. But, because teachers, they always be teachers, they have a union, they bully our kids. So what we've done for all the public schools, we've employed 200. Intentionally, we made it female guardian counselors, guardian and career counselors, so that they are independent and our kids, so that our kids can be able to talk, okay? Because we know we have bad teachers in the system, and the only way we can get rid of those bad teachers is to ensure that we employ those guardian counselors, those career and guardian counselors, and we intentionally employ females, all right, so that they can be able to listen to our students, the challenges and the difficulty and the harassment they will receive from any bad teacher, and they can share it so that we can get rid of those teachers, from the system. So we have those career and guardian counselors that our kids can confidently go to, and they know it is confidential, privacy. You need to make sure you protect the interests of our kids. So those guardian counselors are in the school system right now.
Thank you. So just a follow-up question. How effective has that been? Has the amount of harassment decreased since you employed that strategy? And how do you measure it?
Even the administrator, who's the head of the school, the principal, that guardian counselor is independent in her judgment. All right. So that principal has to walk in line, okay, in chalk line. So any teacher that takes money or harass our students or other sets for grade, I don't think it's not even happening since we've employed those guardian counselors.
You haven't heard of any story of harassment since you employed that?
Since we've employed them.
Okay. Let me get back to the panelists or questions on the challenges in the educational sector in Liberia. Starting with you, Mr. Boda. Talk to us. Mr. Boda, are you with us? You can't hear anything?
He doesn't hear anything.
I think he muted.
You're muted.
Okay, they muted him.
If Mr. Border can't talk, I can go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Bishop Higa. We'll come back to you, Mr. Border.
Honorable Minister, do you know Dominic Kwame?
One of the assistant ministers for planning.
Okay, great. Let me just quote what he said, and maybe that will give you an opportunity to expand on some of the challenges and weakness. As he alluded to, he said, I'm quoting directly, Dominic, your assistant minister for planning and research. He said the education system but have quality teachers that are providing quality teaching for the children in school. It means we have to be able to have the salaries of those teachers. We need teachings and and learning material. We need a kind of educational facility that is attractive to students to facilitate learning. It is only funding that provides this. In view of what Dominic said, in view of the recent budget that was passed and the money allocated to education, the educational sector, are you satisfied where teachers' salaries are? Because it's a driving force for quality education, and most of the teachers in Liberia say they are underpaid and they have to produce pamphlet on their own to give it to the students, and that reduces the quality of the education. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you see, one of the things we should know is that we have pay grades, all right, according to our level. C certificate, B certificates, bachelor degrees, they have pay grades. Okay. What we started is that what we started is to incentivize teachers who are going to the hard to reach areas. All right. Like for instance, we've arranged with CSA. You can pay a teacher who's in Monrovia, who's in Monserrado County or Monrovia, who have lights, who have means of transportation, easy access, and pay that teacher the same pay you pay another teacher who goes to maybe Grand Crew County or Nimba or Butuo, that have to look for housing, that have to have relocation, that need some set of incentive. So we have decided to tap up those kind of teachers and incentivize them. Okay, give them this relocation package and what have you. Okay, opposed to teachers who are in Monrovia that can probably have easy access to housing. Okay, because besides the health ministry that have housing facility for most of workers in the counties, only fewer counties that we have this kind of housing facility for our teachers and administrators. So we're trying to incentivize them. You talk about the physical structure.
Not for the record, Honorable Minister. No, I don't have enough time here. What's the lowest you are paying the teacher and the highest you are paying them for the record so the Liberian people know? Because this is a hard zone. We need to ask you the hard questions so that you can speak to the Liberian people.
Yeah, I can speak to the Liberian people in a way that I need to give them information because it is giving salary in America is very confidential. If it's public means we can because we at the ministry's end we don't have the paycheck. They are being paid through civil service finance ministry. The structure is there. You can ask civil service and finance ministry. The structure.
Mr. Minister, are you saying you can't give us a range? He's not asking for a specific individual salaries. He's asking for a range. What is the lowest and the highest that starts at the Ministry of Education being paid or teachers being paid?
Teacher, the lowest should be 150. I think C certificate.
150 United States dollars.
Yeah, United States dollars.
All right, Mr. Minister. Before I move to the next panelist, since we're talking about the challenges faced in the educational sector in Liberia, let me give you the opportunity to tell us firsthand what challenges is the ministry faced with right now. What are some of the issues at the Ministry of Education that you guys are actually facing right now? Before I go to another panelist.
Yeah, education is a very large sector. And I went to Cambridge, and one of the things that resonated in my mind continuously, that education is resistant. It means that those who you expect to work with you to build a system, sometimes those people they make you to lose faith. Many people in our country, in our setting in Liberia, because education is so large, it's wide, and it's the biggest sector. Everybody thinks that he or she understands what it's supposed to, what it ought to be. That's the situation. Parents register their kids, and they don't even look back. The only time they will want to know about their kids' performance when the school closed, because you take you invest in your kids, you send your kids to school, you don't even follow up to know the kids' performance, you don't even follow up with the teachers.
Mr.
Those.
Minister, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me rephrase my question because I don't
I
feel it.
understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, I want you to be.
Please,
I want for you
because
to talk about the Ministry of Education. What challenges
but
are you guys facing there?
is it not a challenge when parents come to leave the schools, complain that the school, probably the school charging, they are sending their kids to school, and instead of going to PTA meeting to make decisions along with the schools, they will allow the schools to make decisions. At the end of the day, they put on the ministry's, on the ministry's arm. Those are some of the issues. Those are issues. Those are not issues. Those are issues. All right.
That is some of the issue the Ministry of Education is faced with right now.
I mean, those are issues. Those are issues. All right.
All right, let me ask this question. Let me ask my question this way. Top three challenges at the ministry. The three focus point, three challenges at the ministry. What would you say they are?
Okay. Girls, female dropouts. All right. Like we are, as I said, female dropout is out of work in the system. This is why we are incentivizing our young girls, encouraging them to go to school. All right. We are faced with overage kids, and out of school kids. A lot of kids are out of school. Okay, and we are trying to create all necessary means to ensure that our kids go back to school. You see, if you go to Morovia, our kids who are at school age, they are riding motorbike all over the places and other things. So
the top three challenges you just listed: female dropout,
out of school.
out of school,
How do we get the kids back to school?
how to get the kids back to school.
Back to school.
So, what about budget related issues? Are all of your staff being paid? Do you have enough money to carry out the projects that you do have listed on the Ministry of Education website? That doesn't pose any challenge for the ministry?
One of the things. Oh, sorry, it's my phone. One of the things we are blessed with at the ministry, to be frank with you, is that our partners and our donors, they really have that confidence in us, and because of that, almost all the projects related, they continue to buttress the efforts of the government. All right, like for instance, I talked about the three state-of-the-art schools, because after the war, Liberia, we have not had new schools, right? The three state-of-the-art schools, we've been working with our partners to ensure that we have those schools.
Wait,
All
is that
the renovation and the construction of new schools that have been going on, we have been working along with our partners and our donors, ensuring that those things work. Training of teachers, building that capacity. All right, and our partners have been working along with us, and we have been successful in those areas. She talked about primary and early childhood education. We have this program, the test program, okay, whereas teachers who have, it's through the USAID now, through the American people, we have the capacity of our teachers that have C certificate. They will have to go to 2 years program, work with 8 universities. And those teachers will go through those universities to acquire a BSc. All right. Those who have AA degree will go for that 2 years program, will build a capacity to earn a BSc. Those who have C certificate, they are building those schools. AMU, University of Liberia, and some of those community colleges that we are dealing with. Those people there's a special program that we work with the USAID, so that our teachers, their capacity can be built. I mean, those are successes, all right? Because you have to know the kind of teachers that you put in the classroom, all right? I mean, so
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Let me move to the next panelist. And I do not want to have you waiting as much as I did the previous segment, Mrs. Collins. So I'll give you the opportunity now to ask the minister your question.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister,
yeah.
My follow-up question on the curriculum, we were talking about it a little bit during the break. I still want you to just give me a summary of primary education, the credentials that teachers are supposed to have, or the curriculum. Because if we do have a standardized curriculum that will go across the board to every school, whether private school or public school, at least every school will have a standardized curriculum that they will follow, so that nobody will be doing their own thing, in order for us to have functioning educational system. Follow up to that is the challenges that I know the moderator wants us to limit our question to the challenges. My cousin Yakpaulo Zumo that in Vonema, which is the last time in Lofa County, how does he get his pay?
Okay. Yakwa will get his pay because now our teachers, they either have bank account, their banks open, or they have mobile money. We thank God for the mobile money. They always receive that alert on the mobile money. All right. So long they provide a number that they can send to our HR department, that they can send to our CSA, to finance ministry. Every paycheck they receive through the mobile money account. Their phone, they'll receive it through their phone. Okay. For the curriculum, as I said, we have competent-based curriculum. We have curriculum at all levels. Okay. And to teach at the primary level, from first grade to sixth grade, you must have a C certificate and above. Okay, C certificate and above.
What's about kindergarten? Kindergarten to sixth grade.
C certificate, but the only difference is that early childhood education, you are not having C certificate in primary education anymore. You are getting a C certificate in early childhood education, because those early childhood aspect is a delicate part of learning, teaching and learning.
That's the foundation. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to have that C certificate in early childhood education
before you can teach kindergarten, right?
Yes. Okay. You have to have a certification. You have to go through the Teacher Training Institute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spodak. And Mr. Weah, let me come to you next.
Sorry, that Mrs. Collins was talking. That's not me.
And excuse, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes. Before you ask your question, though, can you, Honorable Minister, can you lower the ringer for us, if you don't mind?
Yeah, 1 minute. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Weah.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
So we are muted. I don't know.
Are you with us, Mr. Weah?
He there, but I don't know.
He's frozen. So go to another person.
Mr. Boda, while we wait for Mr. Weah, we'll take his last.
All right. Again, Mr. Minister, I heard you say earlier question answering. I really want to know, digging down into the qualification of teachers. You talk about C certificate. Who qualified to go for the C certificate in terms of going to that program? So high school graduate or high school dropout?
High school graduate. You think you have to graduate from high school before you go to the Teacher Training Institute? KRTTR, Weibo Training, WRTTR, Zozo, you have to be a high school graduate. to enroll
So-
at the schools.
So this is my thing, because I'm gonna give you my own personal story from my own village in Liberia,
Yeah.
in Bon County.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to go home to visit the last 2 years. I went back home.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the public school in my town, it was very deplorable. I personally have to pay for the blackboard, make sure because there was all termites all over in the place, but not conducive. I personally pay for that to redo the blackboard.
Okay.
As I speak to you currently, I paid 2 teachers at that school to help the school out there, because when I got there, the teachers that I saw teaching the kids were not pleasing to me. The way they speak, they don't have the credentials to be a teacher. But I don't know how they got there. But that's the other piece of the side of the story.
Okay.
I have to contact somebody in our area who was a qualified teacher who have been retired, who went through the teacher training program or trained by USN and so forth. Ask him to go to the school. I even carry some textbooks for the kids to learn. So you're talking about engagement and the case, other the things you're talking about instruction, quality teachers. Is this just based in Monrovia or as the entire country? Can you really tell us the success story that you talk about? How is that success story in our villages?
Okay.
That is not accessible frequently by DEOs or CEOs.
First of all, you see, one of the things we have school types. Okay, that's one of the things we should do. The private school, the public school, the faith-based school, and the community school. Many times, our community, they feel that their kids cannot walk far, and they decided to say, okay, this community needs a school. And they tell us, and because many times people say, oh, the government, look at the government school. You show some makeshift school, you show some building, you say that government, no. You know the kind of way, all of us know the kind of way government can build schools. We need to be fair to ourselves. All of us know the kind of way government can build school. Government doesn't build makeshift school. Government has a structure, they have a design, and we can see public schools. But because the community, we have what we call community school, the community will come together and tell the government, say our children, and the community will put together and say, okay, the place is where our kids will come. The only thing that will ask the government for is to send teachers to those schools. So now when you go to these communities or you go in wheresoever you go, you see some of these schools and you say, oh, the government built it. No, the government didn't build a school. The community decided to have those schools. All right. Now, talking about teachers, there's no teacher on our watch that we don't even right now accept we don't even accept high school graduate. You have to have the certificate. You have to go to have the knowledge from the Teacher Training Institute before you even teach first grade to sixth grade. Before you even go in a classroom to teach early childhood, to provide early childhood education to our kids, you have to be certificated. On our watch now, no high school graduate is teaching any school right now. And I want to commend you because, especially you just talk about paying two teachers. As I said, education is all of us business. Volunteerism, volunteer teachers. Sometimes you hear about volunteer teachers. Those teachers, when you are not sitting in the seat that we sit, it seems so easy. Those volunteer teachers, sometimes they are created. Those who are on government payroll that go say they were going to teach our kids, and the government having that assurance and confidence and employ them and put them on the payroll. They leave the classroom, they go to Monrovia or wheresoever they want to go because they are on the payroll. And because they are not there, sometimes they put people in there without the government knowing, people who are not even qualified. And when we go there, we see those kind of things, you are dismissed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
I created
just a follow-up on something I was saying.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but we are almost at the end of the
Let's go.
segment. But let me let you follow up, and Mr. Minister, and if you can just keep your answer very specific.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Boda, give you a follow up real quick.
Yeah, the follow-up is you're talking about structure, schools, government, the community get together.
School types, different types of schools. Yeah.
So this is what I asked you. Is it your concentration is in Monrovia or in rural Liberia across
No,
the country?
the entire country. That's what we have the district education
Because
office.
when you tell me about type, you tell me about type of schools, and what become of those communities that they don't have the means of walking miles to go to school. What happened to that community?
That's what I'm saying. It's part of the type. We have community schools. I want to say school types. So the government provide teachers for the community schools. Okay, the community ask the government, say our student, so we'll have a structure where our student will come, but we want teachers, and the government will provide teachers. The district education officer will go to that place, inspect that place, and when they endorse that place is good for learning, the physical environment, what have you, he will recommend to our office to provide teachers for the community schools, and we'll provide teachers.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let's come to you, Mr. Jai Winkin Weir.
Okay, right. Thank you for this opportunity. Even though Mr. Minister, you didn't actually give some of the information I wanted, specifically with respect to numbers. You talk about students. You don't give how many students pass, how many students fail.
You want numbers? Okay.
My question will be like you talk about ghost teachers. How many ghost teachers? What are the changes you made? You were not specific in all the children. So you never cite specific example. But my question is.
You're muted.
Go ahead.
He frozen.
Oh, the internet got him again. While we wait for Mr. Weir to come back and ask his question, Mr. Minister, let me ask you a question.
Okay, let me just let him know.
He's not listening right now.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
You're listening. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm listening. Yeah. What I was saying that what effort is the ministry making for thousands of students in the street riding motorbike after high school? They got nothing to do for specific training to remove like the Zoko or the people that are in the street. What are the opportunities being provided by the education ministry?
Okay. Let me just tell you the 2020-2021 results. Okay. 38,292 students. 86% of those students are the one that passed in the WAS exams. In the assessment, the third grade assessment, we had 21,319 students that took the assessment. 76% passed the exam. The primary school, which is the sixth grade exam, we had 24,582 students. 74% passed the exam. The Liberia Junior High School Certificate exam, we had 38,292 students. 86% passed the exams. So those are the percentage, okay, the numbers. Okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Weir, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for your answers to all of my panelists' questions. Let me ask you my question though. But before I ask that question, let me make a statement. I listened to your answer. I asked you a very specific question to tell us about the challenges in the educational sector and at the Ministry of Education. I have to be honest. I wasn't really impressed with your answer, and for the following reasons.
Okay.
One, I believe in a statement that goes to solve a problem. The very first step is to know what the problem is. And from your answer, you work at the Ministry of Education as Deputy Minister of Instructions. The three challenges you listed: female dropout, overage kids, and you talk about out of school students. Now, we all can agree that our educational system in Liberia is one of the worst in West Africa before we even get to the rest of the world. We all can agree on that. And STEM education in Liberia, I think we have 1 or 2 STEM schools in Liberia. Deputy Minister of Instruction do not see that as a challenge in the education sector in Liberia. We have shortages of teachers, qualified instructors in Liberia. You didn't name that as a challenge for the ministry. You went to school in the Morocco here. There is not a single district that don't have a secondary school there. That is not the case for districts right in Monrovia. You do not see that as a challenge. Affordable education. The average person cannot afford schools in Liberia. You do not see that as a challenge. We ask you the question about abuse on female students. You didn't name that as a challenge for education in Liberia. Corruption, teacher taking bribery. You didn't name that as a challenge in Liberia. Again, I will pose this question to you. The challenges for education in Liberia, what challenges, given what I just listed, and what is a realistic and effective measure that this government is putting in place on your watch to address those issues?
First of all, you talk about teachers. You don't have adequate teachers. And I want to tell you that we do have adequate teachers. All right. The thing is, integrity problem. Listen, let me just give you an idea.
No.
Don't just be so negative concerning Liberia. I'm in a seat. Let me tell you what it is. You want to learn. You want to understand how the system is. I will have to tell you what the system is. All right. But when we took office, we ourselves we realized that we thought that we needed more teachers. We thought that we had inadequate teachers. But you know what happened? Nuclear Town. I went to Nuclear Town to solve some of the problem. Let me just tell you. I went to Nuclear Town, the Nuclear Town Elementary School. I saw teachers that were on that payroll. Teachers, we went to Nuclear Town and saw teachers that were on our payroll that were not even teaching. Teachers. And those teachers are teachers that we would have taken, and we actually took them to send them to other schools, okay, schools that needed them. They were just on payroll, sitting in those schools because they thought that they never had any supervision or monitoring, all right? Nobody was following up on them, that they were not even teaching, but they were on government payroll. They said, we don't have adequate teachers. We do have adequate teachers. But because Liberians are not sincere to the system and to themselves, they decided to just sit down and continue to be on government payroll because it's government thing. And those teachers, we identify them and we assign and reassign them to other schools. We do have adequate teachers because you are not sitting in my seat. So you think that what you are saying is true. We do have adequate teachers. Okay? So don't tell me say we don't have adequate teachers. We do. But because they think because it is government thing, so they can get away, can do away with it. But you know what? Surprisingly, just go and ask them. Many of them that have not shown up, that are on the payroll, their salaries were held, and they came now to say when the verification team went there, they didn't see them. They were not there. But because we held their salaries, they came to show themselves. Why are Liberians not sincere to themselves? But we'll continue to carry that negative attitude that we don't have qualified or sufficient teachers. We do have. I sit in the seat. I'm the head of instruction. And I will tell you, that's what they do. But all those systems that I told you, the first thing we work on that human resource part of the whole teaching force. Because just imagine I gave you a scenario that chemistry teacher, biology teacher accepted in medical school, but they'll leave the class when they'll be in the place and want free salary.
Honorable Minister, let me
we don't have adequate teachers. We do have.
Yeah, let me hold you to that
those
point.
people are not being sincere, but those are the people getting out of
I don't, Mr. Honorable
telling me that I
Minister.
don't have sufficient teachers.
Before I close,
I'm telling you, I'm sitting in the seat. I'm telling you.
You're telling me. You're telling
But
me.
then,
You're my,
listen for
listen,
me.
honorable Minister. Let me ask you this
And
question.
in the first place, we have inequality of income. You talk about affordability. This is why the government is there for. This is what public school is there for, to create access to affordable education, which is of quality and of relevance. This is why we have public school, provide public school, our government provides school because it's government prerogative. All right? It's, not everybody can afford to go to private school, but people need to go to government school. Government school, you don't pay school fee, you're registered, and you go to school. So you can't.
Honorable Minister, I don't think you need to be defensive. Just answer the question.
I'm telling him. I'm telling you.
No, listen.
I'm sitting in the seat. He's trying to tell us what it is. I'm telling him what it is.
Listen, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, just because you know how you, Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister, you know how you measure the quality of education in Liberia is by the output.
Okay, so
you know, no.
I just came from Livingston.
Let me ask you this question.
I just came from Livingston College in North Carolina, where we send 2 our girls at that college, and the college go there now, Livingston College. The 2 female girls. One graduated with summa cum laude, and the others with magna cum laude. Before the commencement, they honor those girls before even the commencement. They talk about how you measure output. We know. You see,
you have access to this information. I will allow you to
go to Livingston College right now and talk about how few students will send on scholarship.
Honorable Minister,
and ask about
Honorable
what
Minister,
their performances were when they were in school.
Honorable Minister,
why would we do this for our own country?
I will give you the opportunity to respond to the question if you will listen.
Let you know.
If you have access to the stats, you work from the Ministry of Education. I cannot argue with your stats.
No, but you're making the judgment.
I'm not making. I'm making a.
Don't speculate. You don't want to insinuate. You want to get a fact for me. Ask me. I'll give you the fact. He said no, it's not a fact.
Okay.
Go to Livingston College right now in North Carolina.
Help me with this fact, Honorable Minister. You have the fact.
Don't do
you
that.
talk about, Honorable Minister, you have quality educators in Liberia. That was your statement, but help me with this fact. Like I was saying, you measure education, quality education from the output. Your illiteracy rate in Liberia right now is 56.4% the last time I checked. How do you reconcile that with having quality educator in Liberia? But that is not the question I want you to answer. Honorable Minister, you talk about integrity. You talk about integrity in one of your answers to one of my panelists' questions. Just recently, your boss, the Minister of Education, it was alleged that his doctorate is fake. He got a fake degree, and you talk about integrity. Now, let me ask you a question.
That's the problem. That's the problem with all of you.
Let
if
me
you want
ask
to learn, you ask questions. You see that? You see, I don't want you to. No, I don't want you to even go far. I just want to correct you.
No, I want you to allow me.
No, I just want to correct you. Dr. Ansu Soni didn't get doctorate degree by academics. He got honorary doctorate degree. That's what you should know.
Okay,
so you should know. You see, if you don't have the information and you just make statement in this public space and you just defame people carrying on, it's a wrong thing.
It's not.
It's a wrong thing. You don't do that.
I wasn't trying to defend.
No, you are listening to people. You're not following up. You don't do research. You just come and make statements on your own show, and it's wrong.
If you want, listen, Honorable Minister.
Is it wrong to have an honorary doctorate degree?
No, it is not. It is not.
So don't say it's fake. Is honorary doctorate degree fake? No, because it's conferred by schools or institutions. You don't do that. You see, you got to understand this thing, man. You don't just make statements, ask questions, get the information, because information, knowledge is power. But you don't just speculate and just defame other people's character. Not because somebody will say something, then you just come and say it on the public space.
But he was trying to ask the question now.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. What I was
trying to ask the question.
Honorable Minister.
I will ask the question. If you're saying the man get fake.
The man put the other sources.
But then you can ask questions. You can't just say the man got fake doctorate degree.
No,
Honorable Minister, you need to answer questions about education. Why are you getting defensive?
No, I'm not getting. Wait me out getting defensive. Somebody
you getting defensive because you did not answer none of our questions right. All our questions, they ask you one question, you're talking something different. And
What
this is the
difference
hot
is it?
zone. Let's face the
But
fact.
in the house, you now in the house,
You in a hot seat. You are in a hot seat. Yeah, you in a hot seat. You in a hot seat.
Let's go for a break, please.
No, I want to share.
We
Honorable Minister,
want to improve our educational system, and we have to be able to accept the fact, and then we correct it.
thank you, Mrs. Collins. And let me clarify this,
Go
okay?
ahead, Derek. Go ahead, Derek.
I at no point in time on this show made a statement that the minister degree is fake. I was quoting from a source. Again, you run a greater risk if you don't allow me finish the question. I said it was reported, it is alleged. I wanted to give you the opportunity to clarify that information
Yeah,
to
well,
our
okay,
audience.
clarify it now. You get
That's
it now,
why
clarify
you
it.
are here. That's why you are
Clarify
here.
it now.
But again,
That man got
either
honorary
way,
doctorate degree.
either
He ain't
way,
just academic.
he did provide a clarification, and
Thank you.
I must
Thank you,
thank you
Derek.
for that. But for now, guys, we have exhausted the time we have for this segment. When we come back, we will talk about the solutions. We just talk about the challenges, and we have our special guest here from the Ministry of Education. Thank you so much tonight. But let's take a very brief break.
At Fatu's, we know what it's like to feel a little homesick. That's why we work hard to bring you the very best and freshest imported foods and supplies from home. With quality design African cloths, beauty supplies, and tasty African food items, you'll feel right at home. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Fatu's African International Market for all of your household and family needs. See you soon.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Hot Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek. And if you've been following, we have with us a special guest from the Ministry of Education. That is the Deputy Minister of Instruction. Deputy Minister of Instruction at the Ministry of Education. And it has been a very fruitful discussion and very intriguing things were being discussed here tonight. And again, I'd like to extend my thanks to the minister for joining us on this panel to talk about education specifically. And we also like to welcome Reverend Addy, who just joined us for the remainder of the conversation. Reverend Addy, welcome to another episode of the Hazard. And guys, if you're watching us, you know as we do, leave us your contribution in the comment section, and we will be at this point continuing our conversation with the Honorable Minister from the Ministry of Education. Guys, I'll let for one of you guys. Let me start with you, Reverend Addy. If you did us, just because you just joined us, we did talk about general questions about education in Liberia. In the last segment, we talked about the challenges in the educational sector. And now we would like to continue our conversation on that, and then we can tackle in some questions that will have the minister give us some solutions to tackle the challenges in Liberia. So if you want, you can get the ball rolling with your question to the Honorable Minister.
Yes, I'll do that. Honorable Minister Duopu, thanks and welcome to LRTN. My first question to you will be, what is the national budget allocated for education in fiscal budget 2023?
Well, the national in the budget, education is very large, and a country with 500 or 600 million, dollars. We have 50 plus million in the budget, but majority of that money goes to personnel costs, because we have more than 15,000 employees, at the ministry here. We have more than 15,000.
Is it 15 million or 20 million?
No, 50. It should be 50 million.
50.
50.
Oh, okay.
Because of the sector is very large, but the majority of that money is on personnel cost.
Like, can you put a number to that majority? Like, how many percentage of that amount goes to personnel cost?
Close to probably close to 80%.
80%.
Yeah, personnel
Okay.
cost.
Do you have a follow up to your question, Remiadi?
Yes, because the last time I looked at the budget, it seems as if 0.8 million, which is less than $1 million, went to the
0.8
rehabilitation of 0.8 million, 0.8 million, which is less than $1 million, by 800,000 or so.
That's not true. The Ministry of Education budget, man.
No. I'm not saying that's the budget. I'm making a point.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
okay.
You have like $9 million going towards school rehabilitation. You have 2.5 going towards WIAC, and so forth and so on. But the question I have for you: have you looked at the UNESCO report?
Okay, go ahead.
Have you looked at the UNICEF report, the UNESCO report that has to do with the fact that ages 6 to 14 are preschool dropouts? Are there any efforts by your ministry to improve that?
We're discussing out of school. We're just discussing. I think you came a little bit late, but we're discussing out of school. Yes, especially female dropouts. We're discussing it, and overage kids. As you said, even though I want joke Derek down. Derek said that issue. Well, at least you make it as an issue.
No.
Thank you very much, Ade. Thank you, Ade. Thank you for making that issue. Thank you.
I never said it wasn't an issue.
So Derek doesn't want soft target. He wants so
I never said it wasn't an issue, but I never
challenge. So Ade, we are on your side, man. We are working on it.
Go ahead, Remy.
Creating other means, creating other incentives. As I said, especially for our female, I said we incentivizing them for go to school. We have what they call improving, result in secondary education. Our girls are passed from the 9th grade to the 10th grade. We want to make sure that they stay in that 10th to 11th, 12th, and complete. So we gave them $300 with cell phone, with other incentives. We give them ration and school feeding program. We place them inside. At the end of the weekend, they take the ration home. Their family share, so the family can force them, pressure them to come back to school. To make sure that the kids complete. Not only enroll but retain and complete. So those are some of the things we're working on. Creating other opportunities, not only academics, but other programs. Now our kids are largely involved in debates. National. We just launched the national debate last week.
How many girls benefited?
No, the whole country now. You'll be surprised when you see our female students debating.
I'm talking about the
3,000 girls. 3,000 girls.
Well, since you started asking, Remy Adi, was that it for your question? Do you have any more follow up?
Yes. I certainly have more follow-ups.
All right. Okay. I
don't know if you look at the report on the UN and how Liberia is one of the most underfunded when it comes to education. And as it relates to unqualified teachers in the classroom, what is your ministry doing to address high rate of unqualified teachers in the classroom? The lack of materials, according to one of your last MCSS bosses, that teachers are breaking charts in classroom because they are underfunded when it comes to material supply and quality education.
Okay, the one thing we should realize, sometimes when you try to get those reports, you should know what those reports are gearing towards. The GPE to reach that level, what it says Liberia is underfunded. If I say again, Liberia is not underfunded, but in a way, they are saying Liberia is underfunded because if you don't support the early childhood education, early childhood development, that portion is where they count. All right, is where they count. We know Liberia has been supportive. We've been doing a lot of things, but the percentage, the 20% from the budget that's supposed to go to education, that's what their concentration is on when they say Liberia is not is underfunded. All right, if Liberia is underfunded because we are not giving that 20% of our budget. All right, 20 or more percent like other countries. All right, so not that Liberia is not funding the sector, but we are not reaching that threshold, 20% threshold. All right, right now it's 15%, but we have not reached that 20% threshold. And
So is there a reason why for that? When the Ministry of State has a budget of $20 million and your national education budget is 50?
Listen now, this education, I'm not justifying, but a country with, I mean, 600 million with other sectors, you know, and the budget is a portion. I mean, I'm just telling you why United Nations is saying Liberia is underfunded because we are at 15%. We have not reached the 20% threshold yet, and we are.
So you don't agree with the report?
We are growing there gradually. I just want to make it clear to you so you can understand what it means. Okay, when it means that.
I understand what it means. You know, that's why I'm asking you the question because we are underfunding that sector.
Yeah, but
and that particular issue that you are overlooking. That particular issue you are overlooking becomes the bedrock that
I'm telling you why is not that we are not funding the sector, but because
it's underfunded.
They have their own.
That's what it means, underfunded.
Okay, they have their own threshold, and that funding should gear towards early childhood education. Okay, put more in early childhood education. Now you talk about teachers. We were just talking about teachers. We've determined that there's no high school graduate that's going to teach even from first grade to sixth grade before I say up to that level. Because before we used to say even B certificate teaching high school, but it's not like that anymore. To teach those who teach early childhood or first grade to sixth grade, they must have gone through the Teacher Training Institute and earn a C certificate and above.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, Adekim late. You know, the same thing. I just repeating. Anyway, you all tell him that.
Well, the underfunded part, you're not repeating it though.
No, I'm repeating underfunded. No, underfunded myself. The man myself will finish talking about.
To be honest, for the sake of our audience, though, are you saying that you do not agree with that report that that sector is not underfunded? Because I'm not very clear on that.
Who am I to say I don't agree with the report? What I'm saying, I'm just trying to define what they are saying and interpret what they are saying.
But that wasn't the question he asked you, though.
What was the question?
He
made a statement. He made a statement from the report from Arnold. He said, I don't know where he got his report from.
You didn't understand the question.
I'm saying we have not reached that level there, the threshold, the 20% and above. We are still at 15%. So we have not reached.
Let me come to you, Mr. Weir. Your question for the Honorable Minister.
Well, my question I asking earlier was about the lot of children in the street riding motorbike, like Zoko, all of it. What is, aside from high school education that the government is doing, what's about empowering people out of high school that want other skills? What is the ministry doing about that?
Yeah. So we are technical vocational education is one of our goals. All right. If you leave from here, from where you are now to go to Liberia, you go to Tottenham High, BWI, and all the multilaterals. We have to encourage our students because most of our students, they just go to do academics. But now, technical vocational education that leads to employment, that leads to the job market is one of our focus, is one of our target goals. We have state-of-the-art machineries, equipment that we have in all those schools, BWI, Tottenham High, the multilaterals, through our partners EU. If you go there now, You see, so there can be good mechanics, good electricians, plumbers, and carpenters. We have all those equipment in those schools. All right. In the private schools, we not pressure the private schools now because they may not have the capability. We want them to do it gradually because some of them offering cosmetology, some of them offering bookkeeping and sewing, which is a good thing too, in those schools. All right. So if you went to Tottenham High or BDR and you enrolled in from 9th grade or 10th grade to 12th grade, you graduate, you will be no more novice because you'll be a good carpenter or good electrician that you can provide opportunity for yourself, and later on go to college.
Can Tottenham High handle all the students in Monrovia?
I call different schools, even the
Honorable Minister, let's move to Mr. Boulder for his question.
Yeah, Mr. Minister, I want to know. You talk about overage kids dropping out of high school, and what is your department in particular in planning to tackle the overage kids instead of having them in a classroom, somebody in the 4th grade but 15 or 20 years old, it's 8th grade, 9th grade. Is there any program that the Ministry of Education is putting in place to address that situation?
Yes.
So that we can have room for the younger generation, create an environment that will be conducive for the learning.
We call it the Accelerated Learning Program, a ALP program, Accelerated Learning Programs. Those are kids who are over age. All right, maybe you are 13 years old or 15 years old in 1st grade. We have special programs in our schools, all right, and specific teachers that teach you until we can transition you to your actual age class. Okay, we have that program, called Accelerated Learning Program.
Thank you so much, Minister. Let's come to you, Mrs. Collins. Are you with us, Mrs. Collins?
She muted.
Sorry, that. Thank you, Mr. Minister, but I want to make a recommendation instead of asking a question, because I would recommend or suggest to you, Honorable Minister, that the ministry set up a task force to overhaul. I don't know how long it will take it to do it, but the whole educational system needs to be overhauled.
In terms of just get all ensemble and just make it open and overhaul.
From teachers to curriculum.
So what happened to the teacher and curriculum?
Reassess them. Make sure you have qualified teachers, especially for the primary. The primary, the foundation of any nation is the education, the primary for the kids. You have to start from 1st grade to 3rd grade. When they miss it out, that's how it's going to be until they reach the 12th grade. So I want the Ministry of Education to take that very seriously. Overhaul, have a workshop at the end of the school year when school closes, have 6-week workshop to retrain those teachers, have a workshop, review the curriculum, because some of the curriculum that they have, I'm sorry, not because I'm in America.
Have you seen the curriculum?
Yes, that's my recommendation to you.
Okay, you and myself, I want us to be going back and forth because the same thing you say, well, I know this thing is dear to your heart, all right? And as I said, I don't know whether you've gone to, what the last time you went to Liberia?
I'm in Liberia every day. I'm on my way again.
Have you heard about the Read Liberia program?
Yes.
You heard about it?
I have a brother that working that with your ministry.
I just want you to ask you whether you heard about the Read Liberia program that ensure that our kids, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, learn to read, the vocabulary, the spelling, and what have you, strengthen our kids' reading skills. Have you ever heard about that? Sometimes when we
Tell me
say,
about it.
yeah, sometimes we need to ask whether you have this, but don't say you don't have it. If you say you don't have this thing, then it makes it difficult for us to explain to you that these programs are in play. It makes it difficult to say that we don't have refresher trainings for our teachers. We don't have continuous development for our teachers. I just told you even about the test program. All right, a program that's building the capacity of our teachers, our teacher aspirants. Those are either whether pre-service or in-service teachers. I told you we have 8 universities that we're running through. It's through the American Police USAID program to build the capacity of our teachers to make sure that they are worthy for primary and early childhood education. Those people are being trained. They are going to school. They are being trained to get a certification and degree, okay, to be able to teach both our primary and early childhood, to strengthen the early childhood education and the primary education. 8 universities through the USAID program. Those who have C certificate, they are going for additional 2 years to earn an AA degree. Then those who have AA degree, they are going for additional 2 years to earn bachelor degrees in these universities. It's a specific programs so that we can build the capacity of our teachers. So
Thank you.
sometimes I want you to ask whether we have these programs so you can know the kind of things we're doing, the kind of gains that we are making.
I'm a living witness. I don't want you not to be going back and forth. I am a living witness. Whatsoever I'm telling you, I have witnesses. I'm in Liberia every 6 months. And I'm on my way again. I'm from Lofa County. And we Lofia will let go business.
Oh well.
I'm from Lofa County. Some of the school just right in my village. They don't have no teacher. That volunteers.
Well, then we discuss back and forth with this.
Anyway,
Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we have again exhausted the time for this segment. But before we draw the curtain, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
And then give Reverend Adi, since he just joined us, the opportunity to ask one last question, and then we can go on our break before the icebreaker round.
Okay.
Now, on the issue of, you mentioned that the budget allocated to the ministry, over 80% of it is used on personnel. Now, how do you fund other projects that the ministry undertakes, or yearly or however you go about it? How do you fund that? And also, the president of Liberia, when he announced that the university will be free for every student. Now, I know the Minister of Education do provide recommendations to the president for decision on education in Liberia. Was that decision to make the university free instead of a secondary school institution, or was that a recommendation from the ministry, or you got in agreement with that decision from the president? And my last question will be in regards to you talked about qualified teachers, and during the president, when he first became president, he announced that he planned on bringing 6,000 teachers from abroad, but that did not happen. So, what training did you guys put those teachers through that you can be confident enough to say that you do have qualified teachers now? And lastly, if there were to be a change of administration based on your performance, are you confident that you and your boss will keep your individual jobs?
Well, first of all, when it comes to my boss has informed the president that he is only serving for this one term because he's of age, he'll be retiring. So I think the president has reposed confidence in us, and we are doing the work that he wants us to do through his leadership. What I want to say is that the secondary education, public schools, elementary school, junior high school, they don't pay school fees. It is free. The only thing our kids do is just to register and go to school. All right. It's the same as the universities, the public universities. They don't pay tuition. They only register, I believe, and go to school. When it comes to qualified, the teachers that the president, yes, the president, when we took office, the president went to Nigeria, requesting for some teachers to come and help, with the sector, to build capacity of other teachers. But with our own, discussion with the president, we ourselves, because they have to send us the profile of those teachers. And when they sent us the profile of those teachers, we knew, because we were in the driver's seat, we knew who we wanted and the kind of teachers that we wanted. Just recently, Minister Soni and I were in Abuja, and we rekindled, that request. So what happened is that we decided to tell them the kind of teachers that we wanted, because we know the shortcoming of the system, whether we wanted math teachers in the sciences or teachers in the liberal art. We determine the kind of teachers that we want, right? Because as I said, it's not that we don't have qualified teachers. We do have qualified teachers. These teachers are teachers that went to the University of Liberia, that went to university that provide teacher education, even the teacher training institutions, all right, that provide B certificate and C certificate. Not that they are not qualified, but the problem is that I just want to tell you again, integrity issues. You teachers moonlight, teachers who are being paid by government to remain in the classroom. They'll leave the public school and go to private school. Those are glaring things. Those are things that really happen. They'll leave the public school, they'll leave the area of assignment, go to private school to teach, And so all these kind of situations we are being faced with, those are the situations we are curtailing, right? So it's about integrity issue. And that's why I'm saying we have solved, I will tell you, we have solved close to 90% of that situation that we're being faced with, because those teachers, we have a verification team comprising the GAC, the IAA, Ministry of Education, and CSA. If you go to that school, we don't see you there, we treat you as a ghost and we take you off the payroll. Okay? Sometimes we hold your salary, and when they don't take pay, they will come back and say, "Oh, so where were you? Where were you?" So these are the issues. Liberians, we just need to be sincere to ourselves and to one another. To make the system work, we need to be sincere, and that's the integrity we are putting in those, who we've met there, who think that we just get away with government thing. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Reverend Adi, let me take you last on this segment. If you do have any questions for the minister, and then we'll take a break.
Yes, I do have a question. I'm still trying to find out how the minister arrived at $50 million. Because I'm looking at it here. The budget says $9.4 million was allocated to support education services, including $5.6 for basic education materials and supply, examinations of grades 12 to candidates of the YC, and 9th grade candidates for YAC, $2.5 million targeted towards elimination of registration fees and all forms of financial burdens imposed on parents over the long term. An additional 0.5 for completion of rehabilitation, 0.7, and then it goes on to, yes, that's it. Lastly, 1.4, no, that's it. So how did you arrive at 50 million?
So tell me how much, tell me what the number is there. Tell me the number so I can tell you. Tell me the number.
Okay, good. I can do that. $9.4 million was allocated to support education, $5.6 million for basic education, and supplies examinations for 12th grade to candidates of WAC and 9th grades, $2.5 million targeted towards elimination of registration fees and all forms of financial burdens imposed on parents over the long term. Additional $0.5 million for completion of rehabilitation works at the University of Liberia, and $0.7 million for the acquisition of machinery that you mentioned and other equipment for the engineering college and support for the expatriates Indian professors at William V. Stubborn University. How did you arrive at 50 million?
Okay. So what the personnel cost there? What's the personnel cost in that budget? If you look, you tell me about the budget. If that the budget, what's the personnel cost?
No, I'm just looking at the amount that has been allocated to support actual education.
What did I say? Look, we need to. I know you are in a seat. I'm in a seat, and please, I want your colleagues to, probably let you know. We're talking about personnel costs, right? Derek, I think I told you about personnel costs. I told you that majority of is within personnel costs. What's the personnel
total budget for the education?
No, I said it, my dear. I'm just asking you now for the personnel cost. What's the personnel cost there?
Where can you find the personnel cost if it's not in the budget?
It should be. Why you mean not in the budget? Then he's not holding the budget. Because he's telling me, say, I'm not saying that he's talking about.
So, Honorable Minister, are you saying the personnel cost is in addition
what
to
is
the money there's enough?
One of the things you should realize, Derek, and my colleague there.
The total amount of investment here, right? Sorry. Just 1 second so that you can answer me. Just 1 second. Just 1 second, Mr. Minister. The total amount here, okay, is less than the amount that you spend on the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, 20 million. This budget,
listen now, you don't understand. You don't understand. You need to find the budget. I want you to find the budget. That's not the budget there. You need to find the budget, number one. Number two, when you talk about the education, the sector is not only Ministry of Education, all right? The sector is other universities, colleges, and what have you. They comprise, and the higher commission, all of them, they comprise the sector. So you should understand that when I talk about the sector. That's why I ask you, what's the budget there? It's not the budget in your hand. That's not the budget. Okay, that's not the budget. So don't just make those kind of decisions. I don't want to be in hot zone. I don't want to get hot again. Please.
No, but
another budget.
I'm talking to you.
That's not the budget.
Mr. Minister, I'm talking to you.
That's not the budget in your hand.
Mr. Minister.
The personnel costs will be embedded in the budget. It's not a personnel cost.
Mr. Minister.
We go ahead. I think we can go ahead.
No, but
I give information because this is a public space. This is a public platform. When you give information, give information that are genuine, so that when I come in to tell you this is it, so we can have a common ground. But you can't just come and make a begging statement and you say that's the budget. You know that's not the budget, and you want to compare it now to Minister of State. We're not doing politics here. We're speaking education. It's education I'm discussing. I'm not discussing other sectors. All right. So if you bring the actual budget, let's see the actual budget, then you can make your informed decision. But that's not a budget. So kindly, let's go ahead. I don't want to like that.
No. This is the hard zone. This is the hard zone, and the minister
provide the budget.
Hold on, Mr. Minister. I can stop so you can express yourself. But I'm not going to go back and forth though.
Provide the budget.
The actual investment in education. No. You should have come on the show as Minister of Education, knowing what percentage goes to personnel. You don't know what percentage goes to personnel. Yeah. This is under $20 million that goes into the actual investment of education. And then you say we shouldn't talk about investment.
I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know where
your actual investment in materials and education was just broken down in a newspaper. I have the budget. It's just not on my computer right now.
Yeah, but what is the budget?
Have my computer.
So you have the budget. Give us the
Mr. Minister, can you tell the Liberian people how much you are investing in personnel costs? We are not talking politics. We are saying that your government is underfunding education. I'm not talking politics. I'm not talking politics.
What is
we are saying that I provided proof to you. I provided proof to you from UNICEF and UNESCO that your government is underfunding education. And
You
and
have
and
that
and, and,
paper
and
and
you
you
know,
just call it
Madam
answer.
Collins was trying to tell you, Mr. Minister,
Reverend,
that
Reverend,
what
Reverend
Respect
that
Andy,
them,
what
but
you are
don't
saying on
give
this platform, making it seem
Reverend
as
wrong
though we have
information
progress,
to
we
our
don't have
youth.
outcomes.
I won't say down here you give
We
wrong
don't have
information to
outcomes
our
in the
youth.
country. And you are
That's
here
very
saying that we
confused.
have outcomes and you're doing
That's
this and
not
doing
what
that.
we're doing.
Now for
What
long,
is the
Derek.
budget?
Reverend,
What is
Reverend
the
Andy,
budget?
Reverend Andy, guys,
What
listen.
is the
If
budget?
you're watching us, this is the hard
Don't
zone.
give wrong
And the
information to the youth. This is
honorable
a
minister,
platform
What is the wrong
that they
information?
need to
thank you
come
too much,
here.
guys. If you're watching us, this is the hard zone. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will bring you the icebreaker round, and then we will give you the closing from our panelists. But guys, it's been a really great discussion. Let me take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will do our icebreaker, and we will take your closing statement. Thank you.
Hey there. Many Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501cs in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tommy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still here watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network, LRTN Live, and follow the Facebook page of this network. And guys, it has been a very interesting conversation here tonight. We have with us the Deputy Minister of Instruction from the Ministry of Education. He has been talking specifically about education. So we've had a really good night chatting with the Honorable Minister. But now it's time for us to do our icebreaker, and then we will get right into taking the closing statement from from our special guest and our panelists. The icebreaker question for this episode, it says, who is your all-time favorite teacher and why? I'd like to start with you, Mr. Boda. Who was your favorite all-time teacher, and tell us why?
I had a Japanese guy who taught me algebra. And he was favorite because he made it very simple. So he was my favorite teacher. I love the way he teach, the way he presented the lesson. He made it very simple for you to understand the material.
Thank you very much. Let me come to you, Mrs. Collins. Who was your favorite all-time teacher and why?
My geography teacher was my favorite teacher. So he used to say, he was a money man. So he said, all the line, that lani, when he said lani, money me, Elena, they call latitude. They all the line are lonely me standing up, it's called longitude. Wow. But what I used to like about him is he will give you the opportunity to think outside the box, and he will be on you until you figure it out. When you learn it for good. From the time I was in the 3rd grade, he taught me that. I never forgot it. So that's why I used to like about him, because he gave me the opportunity to figure out things and learn it well.
Thank you very much. And let me come to you, Mr. Weir, Jawinkin Weir. Who was your favorite, all-time favorite teacher, and tell us why?
I think she was a physical volunteer from the United States, Miss Baker. And the reason that actually she taught me conjugation using the eight subject pronouns, verb to be and verb to have. And actually that since then that allowed me to really understand the usage of verb, this and that, subject verb agreement. So and she just taught us, for example, I am, he is, she is, using the eight subject pronouns to use two word sentences until it built up to two, three, four. Since then, I just grabbed the concept of conjugation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, for some reason, I thought you were about to say Patty Quet. It's a favorite all-time teacher, though.
No, no.
Nah, I'm just playing. But let's come to you.
Taught me social studies.
Social studies, okay. Okay. Reverend Adi, talk to us.
Well, depending on which, what it is, primary, secondary, and then junior high school, I had different teachers that I liked the most. But in my junior high school level, I used to like Mr. Paul Bannock. He was from Cameroon, and he taught me how to speak French. And I was able to learn the conjugation of the verbs in French. Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. He taught me that, and I was highly impressed. And he was my, in junior high school, my favorite teacher. In elementary or primary education, it was Mrs. Sture. She was my foundational, she helped me set the foundation for primary education in Liberia.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, you have the opportunity to contribute to our icebreaker round. Who is your all-time favorite teacher and why?
I had a teacher, Mrs. Yaboro. She was a mentor too, and she encouraged me. I was little when my dad brought me here. In the sixth grade, I was at Warren Street Elementary School in Newark, New Jersey, and that lady, set the mark on me, and I still have her in my mind today. So she has been, an inspiration to me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And for my contribution, I'll just give my contribution, and then I'll come back to you, Honorable Minister, for you to give us your closing remark. As to my all-time favorite teacher, I'll have to go with my math teacher in secondary school, Henry A. Fredericks, and I know you watch this show, so shout out to you. He was very helpful. He was like a people person. He will help you throughout. And he knew math, of course. He was my math teacher, but he really set a standard for a lot of the students there, including myself. So I would like to shout him out for that. And yeah, he definitely is one of my all-time favorite. And he shared space with my advisor in college, and he was very helpful in preparing me and other students for our individual careers. But that's it for me, for my favorite teachers of all time. And let me come back to you, the Honorable Minister. It's been really nice having you, and thank you for taking up your time to be with us on this panel. We appreciate your presence here, and we appreciate the conversation you held with us tonight. We'd like to say thank you so much. And please take our greeting back to the Ministry of Education and talk about the horizon to the ministry and how some of the other colleagues to come here, and you too. This should not be your last time. But for now, I'll let them give you the opportunity to give us your closing, and then I will do the same for our individual panelists.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate all of you, the questions and your concerns, because education is all of us business. It's the future of our young ones. Tomorrow will be out of the stage, and our kids should be able to have the ability to make sound decision to carry our nation forward. Uh, this government is one of the government that first of its kind recognize teachers. The sacrifice teachers are making. We just honor of a lady, a female that we gave 1 million Liberian dollar to, and others that won, that were recognized, first of its kind in our country to recognize, teachers. Even though most of our teachers they were, pessimistic, that it wouldn't have happened. August 24th, it happened. And also, the education sector plan for 2022-2027 it has been endorsed by the president. That's our driving force. It would carry us the direction that we need to go for the next 5 years as we try to create access, quality, and governance in the education sector. I want us to continue to join hands. I want to commend those who providing opportunities and going to their counties or their districts and encouraging teachers and to keep in the classroom. You are giving some of you taking out of pockets and giving to our teachers, and we'll have a lot of work to do. Those are the ministries, and they are not the only ones that are going to make the system work. All of us want to make the system work. This is why we always drive our concerns to sectorial meeting, to stakeholders meetings, involving the PTAs, the principal associations, civil society, and other partners and donors that can help us to regain the status that all of us yearn for. So I want to say thank you. Information, our people need to get the information. Probably the publicity, that we should be, expressing out there. We are not doing it, and you are creating the medium through which I think I can let the Liberian people know some of the gains that we, making amidst the challenges that we have. But let's keep positive. Okay, we have some success stories. Just last year, I don't want to take you long. We just had a kid, 12 years old, female student, graduating high school, taking the government exam, the WAS exam, and making a appreciable, in that exam. So we have a lot of success stories. Our kids are smart. We just need to afford them the opportunity, to have the kind of quality and relevant education that they need. As I said, we also, have this. Our focus too is on technical vocational education training in Liberia, so that our kids will have the skills, develop skills, not only the academics, but to develop skills. So when they graduate, they can be able to provide or seek opportunities through the labor force. So I want to thank, as I said earlier, thank the president, of Liberia, Dr. George Manawia, for affording Dr. Soni and all of us the opportunity, to serve our country, especially in the largest sector in our country. So we do. I just want to say, on behalf of my boss and my colleagues, that we do appreciate you, recognizing us that when we come, whether in Liberia or here, we can be afforded the opportunity to interact with one another. So we ourselves, can find solution, lasting solution to the education sector in our country. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It was definitely a pleasure having you here tonight. So thank you very much for your contribution on this network, on this show in this network tonight. Again, we will go to our panelists for their closing statement. Honorable Minister, you can choose to stay with us, or you can choose to hang with us, but you are free to leave if you want to, but you can choose to hang out with us. Let me come to you, Reverend Adi. I know you join us later on in the show, but let me get your closing statement for this episode.
Every now and then I often hear members of this government say it's the first of every kind. It's the first. But the fact remains that Liberia is underfunded in education. When the Ministry of State budget of $20 million increased from 10.8 to $20 million, and you look at the actual funding that goes into rehabilitation and quality education is less than that, it becomes a problem. And all we can do is to ask our government to do more, cut the waste in government so that our nation can come out from the bottom of being the least among ECOWAS nations, not to mention the world. It's very important that we make investment in primary education as opposed to not reaching that threshold, whilst we see our government wasting resources via corruption among several other means. We don't hate our government, we don't dislike the president. But it's the first time in history when the government wastes so much money unaccounted for. $25 million, $11 million for the rice, $140 million for road fund. All of this money can be appropriated for education, to take Liberia from the dungeon of being underfunded, so that our teachers can be qualified, and our children, the future of tomorrow, can have the foundation after we've left the stage to make Liberia a better place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Addy. Let me come to you, Mr. Boda, and give us your closing statement on this episode.
Thank you, Derek. I just want to state, Honorable Minister, thank you for coming tonight. And I know you got the ear of the president, and you're working hard. And you don't have in your statement, you didn't mention too much of a financial situation that you have. We ask that you can ask the president to amend the shortfall that you guys need to fund education to the 4 years. And please take that to the president and Honorable Minister Purple at your ministry, so that you guys can fight for more funding for Ministry of Education and for the country, and also help support our educational system in a way that will be standard with other countries, so that we won't be behind. And I want to say thank you for the hard work, and continue to all work along with you guys. Give our meaningful support that we can get to support our community. So, like my brother Ade said, there's a lot of waste spending in government. You can look at that, and the good thing, your background is in finance. I mean, you are very versed in finance, so that will help us a lot in the Ministry of Education, so that you can push for more money to support education. So that's my closing statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda, and as always, we appreciate your contribution here on the Hard Zone. So we look forward to many episodes of your contributions. So let me come to you. Let me go to you next, Mr. Weir. And then I will give our only female panelist the opportunity to close out tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Weir, go ahead.
Thank you, Minister Duopu, for coming up tonight. But I'd like to speak to the Liberian people. Liberia is the oldest country in Africa. Liberia is the only country in Africa that gained an independence from the richest country in the world. In spite of all of that, we are the least in almost everything, including education. We cannot keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a better result. We need to end the patronage system of governance, which is really killing the country. Worshipping our leaders instead of them serving us as our servants. So for this reason, this coming elections, we need to teach a lesson to those in power that are abusing power by changing them. We need a new leader in Liberia coming elections to make sure that our children get free education.
Well, we hope to get Mr. Weir back, but for now his internet is lagging. Well, Mrs. Collins, give us your closing remark, please.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you to all my fellow panelists, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for sharing this platform with us tonight. We appreciate you. But what I want to say is that I want you, Honorable Minister, to take this message to your boss, Mr. Ansasoni, and all your colleagues. I want you to take primary education seriously. And I know you guys are doing a great job, but when you are placed in a position, especially the position that you are in, to educate the population, especially our youth, our children, the future of Liberia lies in our youth. If we don't invest in them now, we will continue to have this problem. You and I know that the educational system in Liberia is way below standards. We don't need rocket scientists to tell us that. And so I know that you are doing a great job, but you need to do more. We all need to do more. We have so many volunteer teachers. They're not getting paid. And I will mention it again. In Lofa County, where I come from, the teacher go to school from 8 o'clock or 7:30 to 11 o'clock. The kids go home because the teacher have to go to a farm. They're not paying him. He's a volunteer. It's so sad. And I know that you want to defend, your ministry, which is you have to defend your ministry. But the truth of the matter is, our school is being underfunded. We need to pay attention. So I want you to take the message. Let us pay attention. Educate our children in a way when you are placed in the position, do your best. And again, the whole education system needs to be revamped. Set up a task force that can review every section of the education system in Liberia. With that being said, I want to say thank you, and we hope you can join us again on another discussion. The more we talk, the more we get to know, identify the problem, and once you identify the problem, it's halfway solved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mistress Elizabeth Collins. And thanks to all of you for your contribution tonight. And Mr. Weird, I know you did not finish your closing. Do you want to take another stab at it?
Well, I just wanted to say that Liberia is the oldest country in Africa. Liberia is the only country that got an independence from the richest country in the world, which is America. Yet, we keep complaining. Yet, we keep doing the same thing over and over. We need to change our attitude. We can't bear the name America and refuse to adopt the same system that is in America. When it comes to adopting the system, we will say this is Liberia. When it comes to benefit, then we say we are an independent country. That is not a way to go. For this reason, the only way to change Liberia is to change our attitude, and that begins with the presidency. And that is why the president who's there now, I love him, but he joined all the other politicians adopting the same old system, the patronage system, where everything has to be done in the name of the leader. We need a structure that will benefit everybody. For this reason, this government needs to change. And the person that I see that can do that is Tiawonse Gongro. So I ask all those who listening to me, who believe in me, to vote Tiawonse Gongro for the next election.
But I campaign we come for again. I thought we give you education again, my man.
The minister of politics will give you a chance to close. You are congratulating your president. We didn't say our campaign.
We should be the seat now.
But guys, it's been fun tonight. Minister, Deputy Minister of Instruction, thank you so much for joining us, and to all of you panelists, thank you guys for your contribution as always. And we look forward to many other episodes. And Honorable Minister, we hope to see you again soon. But thank you so much. And take our greeting back to your ministry. But for now, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will give you announcements and we will close this program.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Have a good night.
Hi, my name is Theophilus Judukon Nelson I. I am the founder and CEO of Lift Africa LLC. Lift Africa started as an employment agency and has sought the employment of immigrants coming to the U.S. and finding ways and means to be able to start life in this great country. Now we have added airport pickups and drop, car rental, hall rental. As you see, we have a new business location. We started with just a little office part, but today we have a whole complex that we can do a lot of stuff with.
Hello everyone, my name is Geneva Kreitz. I'm the Executive Administrator of Uplift Africa. We have an excellent employment rate at our company. We work with and for you regardless of your situation. If you've ever been in prison, maybe your background isn't great, do not worry. We have a place for you here. We believe in equal opportunity for everyone, especially you. So sign up today and begin earning.
My name is Emmanuel B. Horton, Operational Director for Live Africa. Live Africa is the place to be.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us this far. And right now, we'll just bring you two announcements, and then we will draw the curtain to this episode. Starting with the Calabash Pantry, so the Multicultural Community Family Services is again inviting you to our Calabash Pantry, and that's every first and third Tuesday, 12 noon, between 12 noon to 4 p.m. Room 26A, 1716, Terminal Square, Upper Darby, PA 1902 is the address and zip code. So yeah, it's a free pantry. Go over there, get yourself some food stuff for free on every first and third Tuesday between 12 noon and 4 p.m. And also we have the Promise, the Poverty Action Fund for Philadelphia, and also the African Cultural Alliance of North America and Canada for short, is offering an opportunity to file your taxes for free. There's no cost to it. So to make an appointment, you can call 215-729-8225 and dial the extension 105. So file your taxes for free. Call that number, 215-729-8225, extension 105. So you can have your taxes done for free if you call that number and use that extension. But guys, it's been really good having you here today on another episode of the Hazon. Until next time, we will call this episode to an end and draw the curtain for this one. But we'll see you next episode.
We got a boost on Eddie Shirt, baby. International DJ Nolly.
Master Square on the bass.
They sing Musica. Turn me up, let's go. One time, turn it down, let's go.
What's up with you, yata? The papi say he won't be a copa. The tuna for Jaja, on a tuma, every more in Kenya. The Oman bless you, you can tell from a look you not curse. So I'm gonna break your heart, do what you if I see your spot. When Chalo say hello, and then won't call it him moto. Chupa you gift, your friend is jello. When I see tuma in a lapa, when you pass it, you give it a crush. Your tuma do we wait for you. I swear you can go get behind you. Your tuma better house for you. Pay for you. Now you gifted. Your tuma do we wait for you. I swear you can go get behind you. Your tuma balaka for you. Hey for you.
I call it la papido. To my India, la papa, la papido. I call it la papido. To my India, la papa, la papido. La papido.
When the house to the market, the Juna black the traffic. She confused the papi, now get all market for separate. Bumper she fine, oh. My leg are you fresh, oh. Wonderful kind, now your big booty blowing my mind, oh.